Life is like a railway station. Every day, trains arrive, each representing a path, a decision, a relationship, or an opportunity. Some trains take us exactly where we want to go, while others, though seemingly attractive, are headed in the wrong direction. Imagine you boarded a train because it looked comfortable. The seats were soft, the journey seemed easy, and the passengers appeared friendly. But after some time, you realize the scenery is unfamiliar, the destination is not what you dreamed of, and deep down, you feel a sense of unease. That's when life gives you a gentle nudge, or sometimes a harsh jolt, telling you, it's time to get off this train. Getting off the wrong train is never easy. It requires courage because it might mean leaving behind security, familiarity, or even people we love. But staying on the wrong path only leads to wasted time, lost opportunities, and growing dissatisfaction. Life is precious, and every moment on the wrong train takes us farther from our purpose. The first step is awareness. Recognize when a path is misaligned with your goals, values, or happiness. Then comes acceptance, acknowledging that it's okay to change direction, even if it feels uncomfortable. And finally, action. Disembark with faith, clarity, and determination, knowing that the universe has other trains waiting for you. Trains that will take you closer to your dreams. Remember, the right train may not always be the fastest, but it will lead to fulfillment, growth, and peace. Life rewards those who have the courage to leave behind what doesn't serve them and step into what does. So today, listen to that inner voice. Check your ticket. Ask yourself, am I on the train I truly want to be on? If the answer is no, don't hesitate. Step off. Life has better trains waiting, and your journey is far too valuable to spend on the wrong tracks. Life is much like a grand railway station. Imagine walking into a massive station with countless platforms, each one buzzing with energy, people rushing to and fro, announcements echoing across the hall, and trains of every shape and size arriving and departing. Some trains are sleek and fast, promising a thrilling ride. Others appear slow and steady, offering comfort and reliability. This is exactly how life presents itself to each of us, full of options, opportunities, and choices, each leading to a different destination. Every morning, as we wake up, it's as if we are standing on this station, ticket in hand, deciding which train we will board for the day. Some of these trains are clearly marked, with destinations aligned with our goals, values, and dreams. Others may look appealing on the surface, but are headed in directions that, if followed blindly, may take us far away from where we truly want to be. The challenge is that many of us do not pause long enough to observe the signs. We rush, influenced by the crowd, by appearances, or by the comfort of familiarity, and hop on a train without fully understanding its destination. Life's trains represent more than just career choices or education paths. They symbolize relationships, habits, mindsets, and decisions. Boarding the wrong train can mean committing to a job that drains your energy. staying in a relationship that stifles your growth, or pursuing goals that don't resonate with your true calling. The difficulty is that from the outside, many of these wrong trains seem perfectly fine. The seats are cushioned with social approval or financial stability. The journey appears smooth and predictable. Only after traveling a while do we notice the scenery is not what we imagined, that the route is monotonous or even detrimental, and that our hearts are quietly urging us to reconsider. Just like a railway station, life does not force us onto a particular train. We have the freedom to choose, and that freedom comes with responsibility. It requires awareness, self-reflection, and the courage to say, "This is not the train I am meant to be on." Observing other passengers can be insightful too. Some travelers look content, aligned with their destinations, while others seem anxious, restless, or lost, serving as a mirror for what may happen if we continue without questioning our path. Moreover, this analogy reminds us that missing one train is not the end of the journey. Stations always have multiple platforms, and trains depart regularly. Life gives us chances to reevaluate and change direction, to leave behind what does not serve us, and seek out a train aligned with our purpose. The station is not a place of finality, but a space of possibilities, a reminder that while we cannot control every train or every reroute, we can always control which one we board next. When we truly embrace this perspective, life transforms from a series of stressful decisions into a journey of exploration and conscious choice. Standing at the station, we learn patience, discernment, and the importance of aligning our actions with our inner compass. Every decision becomes an opportunity to move closer to our dreams, or a lesson if we realize a train isn't taking us there. Recognizing life as a station full of trains with different destinations empowers us to live intentionally rather than drifting along blindly. It reminds us that the quality of our journey depends entirely on the trains we choose to board, and more importantly, the courage we have to step off the wrong ones. One of the most deceptive challenges in life is what I like to call the comfort trap. It's easy to mistake comfort for the right path. After all, who doesn't want life to be smooth, easy, and predictable? When we are on a path that feels familiar and comfortable, our mind often convinces us that we are safe, that we are making the right choices. But comfort, as alluring as it seems, can be one of the biggest illusions that prevents us from achieving our true potential. Think about it like this. When you board a train, because it looks cozy, the seats are soft, and the journey seems effortless, you might feel at ease for a while. The problem is that comfort rarely guarantees that you're moving in the right direction. The train may be smooth, the passengers friendly, and the scenery pleasant, yet the destination could be completely misaligned with your dreams and aspirations. We tend to confuse ease with progress, and this is where the danger lies. Staying in a comfortable situation often means postponing growth, delaying purpose, and suppressing the inner call for change. comfort can appear in many forms. In careers, it may be a job that pays well but doesn't inspire passion. In relationships, it could be staying with someone out of habit rather than love or shared values. In habits, it may look like holding on to routines that feel safe but don't push us toward growth. Each of these scenarios lulls us into a false sense of security. The mind tells us, why take the risk? Why step out when things are working fine? And in listening to this voice too long, we forget that growth and fulfillment rarely come from staying within the boundaries of comfort. The comfort trap also thrives on comparison. We look around and see others seemingly happy in their familiar, predictable routines. And we convince ourselves that if it works for them, it must work for us too. But happiness and success are deeply personal. What works for someone else may not align with your own values or dreams. Comfort may feel safe, but it can quietly chain us to mediocrity, keeping us from exploring new opportunities, embracing challenges, and discovering our true potential. Escaping the comfort trap requires awareness and courage. First, we must honestly examine our lives and ask ourselves difficult questions. Am I growing? Am I moving toward what I truly want? Am I choosing this path because it aligns with my purpose, or simply because it feels safe? These questions are uncomfortable, and often the answers are even more so. But clarity comes only when we face the truth. Once we recognize the trap, the next step is action, making deliberate choices to step off the train of comfort, even if it feels uncertain or risky. True growth, fulfillment, and success lie not in staying where things are easy, but in moving toward what challenges and inspires us. Remember, comfort can be a beautiful resting point, but it is not meant to be a permanent home. Life is a journey meant for exploration, learning, and reaching your fullest potential. The moment you realize that comfort is no longer serving you, that's the moment you can muster the courage to get off the wrong train and seek a path that may feel uncertain but leads to growth, joy, and purpose. Inner awareness is one of the most powerful tools we possess, yet it is often the most overlooked. It is that quiet voice within us, the gentle whisper that nudges us when something feels off, the subtle feeling of unease that we sometimes try to ignore. Life constantly sends signals through emotions, circumstances, and even through the people around us that tell us whether we are on the right path or veering off track. The challenge lies in paying attention and acknowledging these signals before they grow into bigger problems. Think of it like this: when you are traveling, a train may look perfectly fine on the outside. The seats are comfortable, the journey seems smooth, and the fellow passengers appear content. Yet, deep inside, something doesn't feel right. There is a subtle restlessness, a feeling that the destination may not align with your true purpose. That restlessness is your inner awareness trying to communicate with you. Ignoring it is easy. After all, life is busy, the mind is distracted, and the comfort of familiarity can be tempting. But awareness is your compass, and without it, you risk being led down a path that takes you farther away from your dreams. Inner awareness is more than just intuition. It is a combination of self-reflection, mindfulness, and honest evaluation of your life. It asks you to pause and ask difficult questions. Am I happy? Am I growing? Does this path align with my values and aspirations? These questions are not always easy to answer. Often, we convince ourselves that discomfort is temporary, that we can adjust later, or that the train will somehow magically take us to where we want to go. But inner awareness doesn't lie. It gives us early warnings, allowing us to correct before the journey becomes too costly. Developing inner awareness requires practice and discipline. It requires creating moments of stillness in our lives to reflect on our choices, actions, and emotions. Meditation, journaling, or even simply taking a quiet walk alone can help us tune into the subtle signals our mind and heart are sending. The more we listen, the clearer the signals become, and the easier it is to recognize when a path is misaligned with our purpose. Without this practice, we risk living life reactively, making choices based on external pressures or fleeting comfort, rather than genuine alignment with our true selves. Awareness also empowers us to notice patterns. Perhaps you find yourself repeatedly facing similar challenges, feeling the same dissatisfaction in different situations, or encountering the same obstacles in various areas of life. These patterns are often hints from your inner awareness that certain behaviors, habits, or decisions are not serving your growth. The key is to act upon these insights rather than dismissing them, because awareness without action achieves nothing. Ultimately, inner awareness is the first step toward getting off the wrong train. It is the skill that allows you to recognize the signs of misalignment, to acknowledge your discomfort, and to take responsibility for your journey. The path may be uncertain, the decision may be difficult, but awareness gives you the clarity and courage to move forward with intention. Life rewards those who can listen to their inner voice, interpret its signals, and act with conviction. Every moment you spend cultivating awareness is a moment invested in a life of purpose, direction, and fulfillment. Courage is often misunderstood. Many of us think courage means performing extraordinary acts, standing on a battlefield, or facing extreme danger. But the courage required in everyday life is far subtler and far more profound. It is the courage to face the truth about your own life, the courage to acknowledge that a path you have been following may not be right, and the courage to step away from what is familiar, comfortable, or even seemingly secure. This kind of courage, the courage to change, is what separates those who live fully from those who drift through life on autopilot. Imagine you have been traveling on a train that at first seemed perfect. The journey felt smooth. The seats were comfortable and the scenery looked appealing. But as days pass, you begin to notice the destination is not what you had imagined. There is a quiet voice inside urging you to reconsider, to look around and question whether this is truly where you want to be. Listening to this voice requires courage. Changing direction requires even more. Leaving the train means letting go of the familiar, the known, and even the people or situations that have become part of your comfort zone. Courage to change is not about acting impulsively. It is about making a conscious decision to honor your values, your dreams, and your inner truth, even when the path forward is uncertain. It means recognizing that staying on a train that does not align with your purpose may be easier in the short term, but it leads to long-term regret, stagnation, and dissatisfaction. Every decision to stay in what is easy or comfortable chips away at our potential. True courage says, I would rather face uncertainty than live a life that is not mine. One of the hardest aspects of exercising courage is overcoming fear. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, and the fear of losing what seems secure. Fear can feel paralyzing, whispering that it's safer to remain on a familiar path, even if that path is taking you in the wrong direction. Courage does not eliminate fear. It acknowledges it and moves forward anyway. It is the act of taking deliberate steps despite the discomfort, knowing that growth, learning, and fulfillment often lie on the other side of fear. Courage also requires patience and persistence. In the changing direction rarely happens overnight. It might involve conversations that are uncomfortable, decisions that impact others, or sacrifices that seem daunting. But each small step you take away from the wrong path builds momentum and strengthens your resolve. Over time, what once seemed impossible becomes achievable, and what once felt frightening becomes empowering. The courage to change is not just a single act. It is a habit, a mindset, and a commitment to living authentically. When you exercise courage, life begins to respond. Opportunities that were previously invisible appear. New paths unfold. The universe seems to reward those who are willing to leave behind what does not serve them and embrace the unknown with faith and determination. Remember, courage is contagious. It inspires others to question their own paths, to take risks, and to pursue what truly matters. By stepping off the wrong train, you are not only reclaiming your own journey, but also modeling the power of courage for those around you. In the end, courage to change is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. It allows you to step off trains that lead to dissatisfaction, misalignment, or stagnation. It empowers you to seek paths that resonate with your purpose and values. And it reminds you that the most fulfilling journeys are not those without challenges, but those undertaken with bravery, conviction, and an unwavering commitment to being true to yourself. Time is the most precious resource we have, yet it is also the most easily wasted. Unlike money, once a moment passes, it can never be reclaimed. Every second spent on the wrong path, every day devoted to a life that does not align with our dreams or values, is a moment lost forever. The value of time becomes even more apparent when we think of life as a journey on a train. Each day, The train of life moves forward relentlessly. And the minutes we spend on the wrong train are minutes that take us farther from our true destination. Consider this. We often tolerate situations that do not serve us because leaving them requires effort, discomfort, or uncertainty. We tell ourselves, I will change tomorrow, or maybe this will improve over time. But time does not wait. Days turn into months, months into years, and before we know it, we have traveled far down a path that was never meant for us. Regret is not just about missed opportunities, it is about the realization that time spent on the wrong train cannot be recovered. Every day wasted on a misaligned path is a day that could have been spent building skills, nurturing relationships, or pursuing dreams that truly matter. The irony is that we often overestimate the time we have. We assume we have decades ahead to correct our mistakes, to find the right path, and to achieve our goals. While it's true that life gives us chances to change, the truth is that time is limited, unpredictable, and fleeting. Being aware of the value of time is what makes inner awareness so critical. It helps us recognize when we are investing our energy in things that do not contribute to our growth, happiness, or purpose. Time is a mirror of our choices. It reflects whether we are moving closer to our dreams or drifting further away. Respecting the value of time requires action. Awareness alone is not enough. It's one thing to realize you are on the wrong train. It's another to summon the courage to step off and redirect your journey. Taking action may involve difficult decisions, leaving a job that feels secure but unfulfilling, ending relationships that no longer nurture your growth, or letting go of habits and routines that drain your energy. Each of these decisions costs something in the short term, but the reward is priceless. The ability to reclaim your time and invest it in pursuits that matter. Another critical aspect of valuing time is learning to distinguish between productive waiting and wasted waiting. There is a difference between being patient while working toward a goal and idly spending time on paths that lead nowhere. The first builds character, skills, and fulfillment. The second only leads to frustration and stagnation. Life's train stations are filled with choices, and every choice consumes time. By recognizing which trains are moving toward our purpose and which are leading us astray, we can ensure that our time is spent intentionally rather than lost passively. Ultimately, valuing time transforms the way we live. It pushes us to act decisively, to leave behind what does not serve us, and to pursue what brings meaning and joy. Every moment becomes an opportunity to move closer to our true destination. Life is short, and the clock never stops ticking. Understanding the true value of time makes the courage to change easier, the awareness sharper, and the journey toward purpose more urgent. Time once lost cannot be regained, but if we choose wisely, every remaining moment can be spent on the right train, taking us toward a life of fulfillment, growth, and happiness. Acceptance of reality is one of the most profound, yet often misunderstood principles in life. Many people resist it because it feels like surrender or giving up. But acceptance is not about giving up. It is about seeing things clearly, acknowledging the truth, and responding to life as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. When we are on the wrong train, whether it's a career path, a relationship, or a mindset, accepting the reality of the situation is the first and most crucial step toward change. Without acceptance, we remain trapped in denial, clinging to illusions, and hoping that circumstances will magically improve on their own. Imagine sitting on a train headed to the wrong destination. At first, you may convince yourself it's not so bad, or I can make it work somehow. But deep down, there is a tension, a subtle unease that never fully goes away. Acceptance means admitting to yourself, this train is not taking me where I want to go. It is the acknowledgement that despite comfort, familiarity, or investment of time, the situation is misaligned with your true goals and values. This admission can be painful because it often involves confronting disappointment, loss, or the fear of starting over. Yet it is only when we face the truth that we gain the power to act. Acceptance is closely linked with clarity. When we accept reality, we stop wasting energy on denial, self-deception, or blaming circumstances. We see the situation for what it truly is, which allows us to make informed decisions about our next steps. Denial keeps us on the wrong train, draining our energy and prolonging our dissatisfaction. Acceptance, on the other hand, provides a clear lens through which we can evaluate our options, recognize opportunities, and take decisive action to change course. Another dimension of acceptance is the ability to let go. Often, we hold on to the wrong path because of fear of loss, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty. We tell ourselves, I've already invested so much time and effort. I cannot give up now. But acceptance teaches us that letting go is not failure, it is wisdom. By releasing what no longer serves us, we create space for the right opportunities, relationships, and experiences to enter our lives. Like stepping off a train at the correct station, letting go allows us to redirect our journey toward alignment with our purpose. Acceptance also cultivates inner peace. Life becomes less about struggling against circumstances and more about responding intelligently to them. When we accept reality, we stop wasting emotional energy on things we cannot change and focus instead on what we can influence. This shift from resistance to acceptance is liberating. It allows us to act with calm, clarity, and confidence rather than panic, frustration, or regret. Finally, acceptance is not a passive process. It is a foundation for growth. Once we accept reality, we can combine awareness, courage, and action to get off the wrong train and pursue the path that truly matters. It is the bridge between recognition and transformation. By facing life as it is, we empower ourselves to live life as it should be, intentionally, purposefully, and joyfully. Taking decisive action is where intention transforms into reality. Awareness, reflection, and acceptance are essential, but without action, They remain abstract concepts, ideas that never change your life. When you recognize that you are on the wrong train, acknowledge the discomfort, and accept the reality of your situation, the next critical step is to act. This is the moment where courage meets execution, and your life begins to move in the direction of your dreams. Think of it this way. Knowing a train is headed in the wrong direction is not enough to reach your desired destination. You must physically get up, walk to the door, and step off. In life, this means making conscious decisions that align with your purpose, even when they are uncomfortable or uncertain. Many people delay action because of fear or indecision. They wait for the perfect moment or for circumstances to be ideal. But life rarely provides perfect conditions. Waiting indefinitely only prolongs stagnation, frustration, and dissatisfaction. Decisive action is about choosing to act despite uncertainty. Knowing that progress begins the moment you take the first step. Action requires clarity. You cannot move effectively if your intentions are vague or conflicting. Decisive action involves asking yourself honest questions. What is the first step I need to take to move toward my purpose? What can I do today that brings me closer to alignment with my goals? Even small, deliberate steps create momentum. Each action, no matter how minor, signals to your mind and the universe that you are committed to change. Momentum builds quickly once you begin moving in the right direction. And what initially felt difficult or intimidating becomes increasingly manageable. Another key element of decisive action is responsibility. It is easy to blame circumstances, other people, or past mistakes for keeping you on the wrong train. But decisive action requires owning your choices and understanding that you are in control of your journey. You may not control every aspect of your life, but you can control your response. By taking responsibility, you reclaim power over your direction and create the possibility for meaningful transformation. Decisive action also involves overcoming fear. Fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown often paralyzes people, keeping them trapped on paths that do not serve them. Action is the antidote to fear. When you act, you confront uncertainty directly, and each step you take diminishes the power fear holds over you. Courage grows stronger with action, and confidence builds as you realize that challenges can be navigated, obstacles can be overcome, and opportunities can be seized. Finally, decisive action is not about perfection. It is about commitment. Life rewards those who move forward consistently, even if mistakes are made along the way. Each step teaches a lesson, reveals new insights, and brings you closer to the destination that aligns with your purpose. Waiting for certainty or flawless conditions only prolongs your journey and risks keeping you forever on the wrong train. Taking decisive action transforms intention into reality. It turns self-awareness into progress, acceptance into movement, and courage into tangible change. Every moment you act, you move closer to the life you are meant to live. The trains of life will continue moving. Opportunities will continue arriving, and time will not pause for hesitation. The question is whether you will summon the courage to step off the wrong train and take the decisive action that sets you on the path to fulfillment, growth, and true happiness. Trust in new opportunities is the final yet one of the most essential steps in leaving the wrong train behind. Often, the biggest obstacle to growth is not realizing we are on the wrong path, nor acknowledging the need for change, but the fear of what comes next. When we step off a train that feels familiar, comfortable, or predictable, the path ahead may seem uncertain, and our minds instinctively cling to the known, even if it is leading us astray. Trusting new opportunities is about believing that life has better options waiting for us, that leaving behind what no longer serves us opens the door to paths aligned with our purpose, growth, and happiness. Opportunities often arrive disguised as challenges, risks, or uncertainties. They may not appear as the shiny, obvious choices we expect. In fact, new paths often require stepping into discomfort, facing fears, and venturing into the unknown. But it is precisely in these moments that life rewards faith, courage, and perseverance. By trusting that the universe, or our own effort and judgment, offers paths aligned with our higher purpose, we open ourselves to experiences that can transform our journey, our mindset, and ultimately, our lives. Trust in new opportunities requires letting go of the illusion that we can control every outcome. When we step off the wrong train, we may feel a sense of loss, fear, or uncertainty. But instead of focusing on what we have left behind, we must focus on what lies ahead. Every closed door clears space for a better door to open. Life's trains are abundant, and each one carries a unique set of experiences, people, and lessons. The key is to recognize when a door closes and to believe that a better one is ready to open if we are willing to step through with faith. It also means developing patience and discernment. Not every new opportunity is meant for us, and not every path we consider will lead to fulfillment. Trusting new opportunities does not mean acting recklessly or impulsively. It means being open, exploring, and listening to both intuition and reason. It involves weighing possibilities, evaluating alignment with our values, and taking steps that feel right while remaining adaptable to change. By balancing courage with wisdom, we can recognize the opportunities that are truly meant to carry us forward. Furthermore, trust in new opportunities fuels resilience. Life is unpredictable, and even the best paths can be challenging. But when we trust the journey, we understand that obstacles are part of the process, not a signal to turn back. Each step taken toward a new opportunity strengthens our confidence, broadens our perspective, and reinforces the belief that we are capable of navigating uncertainty. Trust transforms fear into excitement and hesitation into action. Finally, trusting new opportunities reminds us that life is abundant. One wrong train does not define your destiny. One failed attempt does not dictate your future. By embracing change, believing in the possibilities that lie ahead, and taking deliberate steps toward new paths, we create a life filled with growth, purpose, and joy. Trust allows us to move forward without regret, to explore without fear, and to embark on journeys that resonate with our true potential. It is the faith that the next train, though unknown, holds the promise of fulfillment, learning, and meaningful progress. When we trust new opportunities, we open the door to transformation. Life rewards those who leave behind what no longer serves them and step confidently into the possibilities that await. Every new path, every fresh experience, every choice aligned with purpose is a train to a brighter, more meaningful destination. Trust is the bridge between leaving the wrong train and boarding the right one, and it is the fuel that propels us toward a life of fulfillment, adventure, and joy.